यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारि राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी कुपी जनवल्लभ जयो गिरिवरधारी जय जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारि यमुना तीरावनचारि राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधा राधे जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा सुभद्रा मां जय सुदर्शन जय गोपाल देव जय गोपाल देव गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपदा शिल प्रभुपदा जगद्गुरु शिल प्रभुपदा गुरुदेवा जय श्रीपदा जय श्रीपदा जय जय श्रीपाद जय गुरु महाराज श्रील श्रीपाद की जय जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय संवेद और भक्तवृंद की जय। So continuing our Bhagavatam Seva, today is we are reading from the 7th canto. This is 5th chapter, verse number 47 through 51. So I'll just read the thing, slokas and translation. Maybe. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Budhiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishiki. This is verse number 47. Aprameyanubhavoyam akutasshid bhayo maraha nunam etad virodhena mrityurme bhavitanava. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. I can see that this boy's strength is unlimited, for he has not feared any of my punishments. He appears immortal. Therefore, because of my enmity towards him, I shall die. Or maybe this will not take place. Text 48. Iti tachintaya kinchin mlana shriyam madhomukam shandamarkav aushasanaso vivikta iti hochatu. Translation. Thinking in this way, the king of the Daityas, morose and bereft of bodily luster, remained silent with his face downwards. Then Shanda and Namarka, the two sons of Shukracharya, spoke to him in secret. Text number 49. Jitam tvayekena jagatrayam bruvor vijrimbhana trashta samasta dishnyapam na tasya chintyam tabanatha chakshvahe na vai shishunam gunadoshayo padam. O Lord, we know that when you simply move your eyebrows, all the commanders of the various planets are most afraid. Without the help of any assistant, you have conquered all the three worlds. Therefore, we do not find any reason for you to be morose and full of anxiety. As for Prahlad, he is nothing but a child and cannot be a cause of anxiety. After all, his bad or good qualities have no value. Translation by Prabhupada. Until the return of a spiritual master, Shukracharya, arrest this child. Oh, I didn't read the next verse, right? Yeah. Text number 50. Imam tu pashair varunasya badva nidehi bhito napalayate yata buddhisya punso vayasarya sevaya Yavad Gurur Bhargava Agamishyati. Translation by Prabhupada. Until the return of a spiritual master, Shukracharya arrests this child with the robes of Varuna so that he will not flee in fear. In any case, by the time he is somewhat grown up and has assimilated our instructions or served a spiritual master, he will change in his intelligence. Thus, there need be no cause for anxiety. Text number 51. Tateti guru putroktam anugyayedam abhravid dharmo hi asyopadeshtabhyo ragyam yogrihamedhinam. Translation. After hearing these instructions of Shanda and Amarka, the sons of his spiritual master, Hiranakashipu agreed and requested them to instruct Prahlad in that system of occupational duty, which is followed by royal householder families. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Hiranakashipu wanted Prahlad Maharaj to be trained as a diplomatic king in ruling the kingdom, the country, or the world, but not to be advised about renunciation or the renounced order of life. The word dharma here does not refer to some religious faith. As clearly stated, dharmo hi asyopadeshavyo ragyam yo grihamedina. There are two kinds of royal families, one whose members are simply attached to household life, and the other consisting of Rajarishis, kings who govern with ruling power, but are as good as great saints. Prahlad Maharaj wanted to become a Raja Rishi, whereas Hiranyakashipu wanted him to become a king attached to sense enjoyment, Griha Medina. Therefore, in the Aryan system, there is a Varnashrama Dharma by which everyone should be educated according to his position in society's division of Varna, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and Ashrama, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. A devotee purified by devotional service is always in the transcendental position above the mundane qualities. A devotee purified by devotional service is always in the transcendental position above the mundane qualities. Thus, the difference between Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu was that Hiranyakashipu wanted to keep Prahlad in mundane attachment, whereas Prahlad was above the modes of material nature. As long as one is under the control of material nature, his occupational duty is different from that of a person not under such control. One's real dharma or occupational duty is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam, Bhagavatam 6.3.19. As described to his order carriers by Dharmaraj or Yamaraj, a living being is a spiritual identity, and therefore his occupational duty is also spiritual. The real dharma is that which is advised in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja, 18.66. One must give up one's material occupational duty just as one must give up his material body. Whatever one's occupational duty, even according to the Varnashrama system, one must give it up and engage in one's spiritual function. One's real dharma or occupational duty is explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. Madhya Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita 20.108. Every living being is an eternal servant of Krishna. That is one's real occupational duty. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swaminiti Namine Nama Sadbhaktamanaye Manipur Udbhavaya Cha Prabhupada Satvani Prachara Niratayate Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine Dvancha Kalpatarurvyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanastam Namami Harim Param Sansara Sagare Magnam Dinam Mam Karunanide Karmagrahya Grihintangam Mam Uddhara Bhavarnavat Srimad Bhagavatam Pratyaksha Krishna Evahi Svikritosi Mayanata Mukhyartam Bhavasagare. So today is Christmas, right? Everybody is celebrating. There are a lot of stars shining in the houses. And we have all these 4-5 verses in the Bhagavatam. Some important points. So Hiranakashipu is actually ruminating. A small child, 5 years old, how has he been so misguided that although I'm threatening him in so many different ways, but he is not afraid. And then he is saying he appears immortal. Like, I cannot do anything to destroy. And my position is because I'm his enemy, I've become his enemy. I think I shall die. Or maybe this may not happen. Somehow he may let me go because I'm his father. So all these thoughts are running through his mind. You can see the person who is demoniac, how low down they can stoop. Like I have a veterinary background, so sometimes you see these animals, right? Like these cats and other things, they give 6 or 7 kittens in a litter, they deliver, and they become very hungry, and they actually eat 1 or 2 of them, their own children. This is animal behavior. Normal human being, especially somebody who is a conqueror of the entire universe, who has done so much tapasya, so much so that Brahmaji was forced to grant him, so many boons. Such a personality to behave in such a way is, is unimaginable, actually. And then you see the consequence of that. He's become very morose. His face is, when you're very depressed, you hang your head like that. Your head is down. And these two cronies, his guru's sons, Shanda and Amarka, they are coming, and very secretly they are speaking with them. So this demoniac mentality is very much explained in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 16th chapter, Deva Asura Vibhaga Yoga. And you see the symptoms, somebody who is very demoniac, how they behave. The first thing, the demoniac mentality people, they have this Ishvara Bhava, Ishvaroham Maham Bhogi Siddhoham Balavan Sukhi. I am the Ishwar, I am the controller. They will not relinquish their control at any cost. They always want to maintain full control. Ishwaroham. Aham Bhogi. I am the enjoyer. Everything is meant for my enjoyment. Siddhoham. I am all perfect. You cannot find any trace of fault in me. Balavan. I am fully powerful. My strength is unlimited. Sukhi. And I'm always happy because I have all these things. But you see, while trying to maintain all this kind of control, they lose control of their own senses. They are not able to control their own senses. So, Upadeshamrit, Rupa Goswami is saying, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Vegam, Krodha Vegam, Jivva Vegam. All these Vegams, they become fully, prominently in display. One Vegam after the other. All this begins with this Ishvara Bhava. Ishvara Bhava means that they think that I am the master. But you see, in the last purport, Prabhupada is making it very clear. Nitya Das, we are Krishna and Nitya Das. We are always eternally servants. Under all circumstances, we are always tiny, insignificant servants. We are literally beggars, actually, insignificant beggars. This is how Prabhupada entitled a poem, a tribute by a very insignificant beggar. For everything we want in life, we have to beg somebody or the other, actually. And those who are very fortunate, they get the chance to beg to the Lord or the pure devotees of the Lord. You have to be very, very fortunate to be in that kind of position. But as soon as this Ishvara Bhavam comes, as soon as this controlling mentality that I am the master, as soon as this comes, then, the path of degradation, it begins. Very fast it begins. So another prominent symptom is that they start dismissing all the good in others and they start seeing and glorifying the faults of the others. There was this Prabhuji from UK. He's a Gujarati Indian person, NRI. It's a very nice devotee. He used to have these ecstatic kirtans. And he passed away in the Dham very auspiciously. One Bhakti Prem Prabhu. So he used to, whenever he used to meet me, he used to come to the temple in Radhakund. He used to tell me, Prabhuji, please forgive my humble obeisances, accept my accept my, what is that, offenses, like that. I used to laugh. But I'm remembering this, people with demoniac mentality, they not only accept the faults, but they glorify it and they make it very huge. They make it very huge. Prahlad is a small child, right? He's hardly 5 years old. And, he's saying, his father is asking him, what is the best thing you have learned? And he's saying, whatever his little knowledge from 5 years of experience, he's giving that. But okay, it is my child, when children say something, the parents are always usually very happy and they accept that. Oh, yes, yes, yes. But no, Hiranakashipu had to completely, become disgusted, throw the child from his lap, and then try in so many different ways to kill that small child. Unimaginable. So this thing, dismissing all the good in others and glorifying the false. This Ishvara Bhavam, then the second step. Now the third step. Then they become very miserable because things are not going their way. No. Nature always tries to balance things. So when things are not working properly, then they become very upset. Then the fourth step, they take all kind of drastic measures to somehow or other, by hook or crook, yena kena prakarena, remedy that situation. And if all things fail, then they try to completely destroy the enemy at the first opportunity. Somehow or the other. Give a dog a bad name and hang it. And then lastly, in order to execute all these, they have their group. Power, power hungry people, they come, they like attracts like, people will flock. Those kind of cronies will flock to them, and then they will assist them in their nefarious agenda. And we see this typical example here, how Chanda and Amarka are both coming, and in very secret they are whispering. All the while they are thinking that what I'm doing is totally right. It is all for the best. There is no chance of mistake. Everything is just perfect. So we can see, especially when you're dealing with powerful people, when you're dealing with people in power, this story of Prahlad Maharaj is very, very instructive. Prahlad, he did nothing. He just tolerated. Tiraskrita, Vipralabda, Shapta, Shipta, Hata Hapihi, Na Tasya Pratikurvanti, Madbhakta Prabhavo Api. Devotees, they are not ordinary people. They are very powerful because at some point in their life, they are fully surrendered to the Lord. Prabhavo, they have so much power behind them, unlimited power. Hiranakashipu is realizing that. My own 5-year-old small child has so much power, maybe he will destroy me. He's so very afraid. So afraid of losing his position, his control, his own life. He's so much afraid. So the whole point is that this power is such a thing that, there is nothing much you can do. You just have to tolerate. And Prahlad Maharaj was doing that in a very nice way. He just tolerated the whole thing. Power is such a thing that it can corrupt one at all levels, all levels. And absolute power means, there is absolute corruption. Somebody was saying, right? I don't know. It's a French guy saying, you kill one person, you are a, assassin or murderer. You kill few thousands, you are like a conqueror. You kill everybody, you're God. This is a kind of feeling. Any opposition comes, I must completely destroy. And this is what he is doing. And he is doing it to his own flesh and blood, his own small child. This kind of mentality, what happens is that humility goes out through the door, and there's no question of amanina manaden. And forget about kirtaniya sadahari, the goal of life. All these things, they go out through the door. But Prahlad, he wasn't interested in all these diplomatic dealings, considering somebody his enemy, considering somebody your friend. He wanted to be a friend to everybody. So that's why kirtaniya sadahari was very much possible for. The father, who is supposed to behave in a very mature fashion, he is behaving worse than his child, who is so calm and composed. The father is so agitated and he is lashing out, and all kind of thoughts are running through his mind. But the child, you see, grace under pressure. There's so much pressure, but he is so graceful. He's just sitting there tolerating the whole thing. That's why. So it is either Kirtaniya Sada Hari or it is Sada Vari. Worry. One worry after another, one kind of anxiety after another. So I remember Guru Maharaj was always, he was very tactful, very dignified, and he was like a gentleman at all costs. Prabhupada even remarked, our Swarup Damodar has this quality of making friends. So it's not easy to actually bring somebody to your, how do you say, to make somebody your friend. And Prahlad Maharaj was so expert that, at that tender age, he was somehow able to capture and make Lord Krishna as his dearmost friend. So if somebody can be like that, everything becomes easier actually. We don't see the faults, we don't develop all kinds of wrong conceptions in our mind. We learn to tolerate all these divine qualities, they become very much manifest. That's why Guru Maharaj was telling me in Manipur, this is after the temple opening, he was telling you read this Bhagavad Gita, one chapter, the 16th chapter, divine and demoniac natures, you read this every day you chant. And you see how much of these demoniac qualities you are losing and how much of these divine qualities you are imbibing. You are able to actually put it in practice in life. So Prabhupada is also making a mention about this Varnashrama Dharma, the thing, last part. So there is this mundane Varnashrama Dharma, this classification so that society can function normally. And then there is this Daivi Varnashrama, transcendental. And Prabhupada is making this very important point that, the devotees, just one second. Yeah. A devotee is purified by devotional service. And so he is always in the transcendental position above these mundane qualities. That is the difference between Prahlad and Hiranakashipu. So devotees, they don't get disturbed like that. That is one very prominent symptom. Because in the material world, everybody, practically everybody is not favorable for devotional service. Everybody is averse to the Lord. Everybody is averse to the control of the Lord. So in such a situation, if you have to execute and try to remain a humble servant, it becomes very, very difficult sometimes. Narad Muni was advising this snake, right? You must have heard the story, how there was this snake who was living at the edge of a village, and all the village boys, like they are very prone to do, they take sticks and stones and they were beating this poor snake every now and then whenever this fellow used to come out to find some food. So somehow Narad Muni made him his disciple, and one day when he came to visit, he saw that the snake was badly beaten up. So that poor snake couldn't even offer proper, obeisances, and Narad Muni inquired, why, what happened? The snake told, you made me a disciple, so I was trying to execute all the principles of Ahimsa. Then Narad Muni said, you don't have to bite, because the snake is like that. Without provoking, they try to bite. Without even any provocation. But you don't have to bite, but you can stand up and hiss. Just show your hood like that and you can scare those boys away. That you can do. That I didn't tell you not to. So one has to use one's intelligence actually when dealing with all these kind of ups and downs in life. And this is what we learn actually from this. But more important than dealing with all this is how to transcend this entire situation and try to go above the moods. Because these things will keep on happening. If it is not one person, it's not another person, somebody else will come. The situation, the time, place, situation, these things will always manifest. One cannot avoid this. But the thing is how to learn to transcend these things. How to be on this Atma Star, on the spiritual platform, how to remain on that. This whole training, this exercise, this service, whatever we are doing is simply to elevate us, is to purify us, to bring us. So I will tell another small story and I will wind up this. So there is this, there was this saintly person who was going by a river. So there was a tree which was bending over the river, and the river was in full, full flow. So it was raining, so there was a lot of water rushing through the river. There was a scorpion which was on top of the tree, which was the branches of the tree were overhanging this river. And somehow, when the sadhu was entering the water and doing his Sandhya Vandan, he happened to see that the scorpion fell down into the water. So sadhus, they are very merciful. Sometimes they may be very hard outside, like thunderbolts, but inside always the core of the heart is very soft. So as soon as the sadhu saw this, that this poor scorpion is, drowning in the water, he immediately picked it up with his hand, without even thinking, without giving it a second thought. And naturally, the scorpion, the nature of the scorpion is to sting. So he displayed his full potency and he gave a big, sting to the hand of that poor man that sadhu who was trying to save his life. So then pain was unbearable. The sadhu dropped the thing. And again, when he saw the scorpion was drowning, he again picked it up. So this was going on like this. Every time this person would pick up, the scorpion would sting him. But then you see, poison, there's no unlimited supply of poison, right? At one time it runs out. So then the scorpion stopped stinging him, and then he was able to bring it with a very swollen hand. He was able to bring it and put it on the shore. Our passerby was walking that side, and he commented, "What kind of sadhu are you? Why are you trying to save that when it is causing you so much distress?" And the sadhu, with all that pain, he smiled. And then he's saying, see this animal, although it is so, so tiny, he is not willing to give up his nature. His nature is to attack and sting. So he is not willing to give up. I'm such a grown-up person with better intelligence. Why should I give up my good nature? And then he silently walked away. So sadhus, they sometimes have to spend billions and billions of spiritual blood, not ordinary blood. Even ordinary blood to get, it takes a long process just to get a few drops of blood. And spiritual blood, it's not an ordinary thing. They have to shed millions and millions of spiritual blood simply to get one living entity from the snare of Maya. And during the purificatory process, when you're chanting, you see all these anarthas, they become manifest. Whatever is inside, because you're doing some Chetodarpana marjan, right? When you're cleaning the room, you see so much dust and everything will be very visible. So our job is not to, glorify, oh, you see, there is so much dust there, there is so much dirt here, so much trash there. This is not our job. Our job is to somehow remove that and, possible, help that person to remove some more dirt from the room. And this is our job. This is a sadhu's job. So one should learn from these instances in the Bhagavatam, where Prahlad Maharaj is displaying this amazing tolerance. A child, who can he go to? He has to run to his parents. If there is some problem, he has to run to his parents. And the parent himself is torturing him like this. A powerful conqueror of all the three worlds, and he couldn't conquer his own senses. And this small tiny boy who surrendered fully to the Supreme Lord, and because of that, you see the end, how it works out. So that is why the Bhagavatam is telling that When the bad time comes, vinasha kale viparita buddhi, they say. When your time for destruction has come, your brain will go all topsy-turvy. It will not work normally. So that's why we take shelter of the devotees of the Lord and we pray at their lotus feet that they will save us. Actually, Gorgon Maharaj was saying, please protect me. I'm trying to execute the devotion of my the service given by my Guru. You please kindly protect me. So this is what all the devotees are craving, that we want this kind of protection. We want that kind of non-envious family feeling, so that everything is working very nicely. Otherwise, this is the age of Kali. So there will always be quarrels. There will be very hypocritical behavior, and life will go on. Life will go on in the same fashion as it is going on now. But otherwise, one can transcend. One can start doing this. Amanina manadena kirtaniya sada. Always. I'd like to stop here. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Hare Krishna. Any questions, suggestions, or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for this nice and wonderful class. Yeah, if anyone is having any question regarding today's class, they can raise a hand and ask His Grace Mother Manohar. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have a question.
Sanatan, Raj.
Yeah. Yeah, in general, mostly in villages, we see like whenever a child or whenever the kid is not listening to the parents, then they come to this conclusion, okay, let him get married.
Yeah.
That is the same scene being repeated here. Like Hiranakashipu is observing that his son is not listening to him, and somehow he is instructing that his teachers to train him to enter into this ashram.
Yeah.
So why this sort of thought actually comes? What is the cause, or is it the true solution?
See, when I was in Manipur, right, there are a lot of Tamil people there in the border town, More. They go there for doing business actually. So somehow, by Lakshmipati Prabhu's mercy, I was able to go there, and we had some few programs in certain houses. So I was telling them how this meat eating is not very nice thing to do. You're killing one animal and you're disturbing that animal's progress. It is very criminal. It is very sinful. I was telling them these things. And they are like, from parampara, we are doing this. For so many generations, we are doing this. And, Swamiji, now you are coming and you're telling us to give up all this. What do you expect? Same thing. I used to ask my mother, you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and she would say, Amma, Amma means with the mouth which we are calling mother, mother. You want to say you're asking me to say Kuma, Kuma. You say the reverse of that. I'm trained to chant like this. I'm chanting only Ram, Ram, Ram. Then I said, it's all right. You do whatever. At least you chanting God's names. So you see, we are conditioned like that. These things, the conditioning is very, very difficult to remove. Actually, this whole process of chanting devotee association is to purify this. This kind of conditioning. You become completely unconditioned, free from all these modes. And that is not an easy process. Why it isn't easy is because we don't allow people who come to decondition us we don't give them a chance. The doctor is coming, he wants to cure the patient and he is trying to put some injection or whatever. And the person is protesting, oh, it is paining so much, get out. You're simply trying to take my blood. You're simply trying to take my money. You're simply, stuffing all these nasty pills down my throat. All kind of protests they will. So this is the thing. In South India, we say kalkatta. Kalkatta means tying the legs, right? If they marry of a person, they think that his legs are tied down to his wife and his family and kids, and he will stay in one place. Otherwise, that person will run away. And because responsibility comes, right? He has to maintain his wife and children. So they think that responsibility will make him more matured or something like that. So this is a conditioning actually. If you make disciples, your disciples are also your children actually. The guru is supposed to be the eternal father. So you don't need to get married to have children. There are ample children wandering around. They talk about overpopulation. This whole corona thing, they're trying to reduce the population, they say. Vaccination, other things. Because it reduces the body's immunity, this virus, they say. If you get it naturally is one thing, but artificially they inoculate you with this thing. So many discussions are going on. So the devotee's job, the sadhu guru's job is to purify this, remove all this tool in the brain. Prabhupada used to say. Guru Maharaj was asking, Prabhupada, they say we are brainwashing them. And yes, what do you mean brainwash? We completely cut away that brain and we replace it with a brand new one. This is how Prabhupada was saying. Asanga shastrena, with the sharp, what do you call that? The axe of detachment. They are trying to cut down all these deep-rooted, these contaminations, and we protest at every level. We will protest. We don't want to allow this. That is why this individual has to have that desire that I really want to get out from this situation. Unless the desire comes, you'll be caught up in all this. You'll get married, you'll have children, and then punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare sign. Somebody who becomes little intelligent, then he will take up Krishna bhajan. Otherwise, it is not easy. Krishna ye bhaje se bada chatur. Otherwise, there'll be so many people to advise you in all the wrong directions, including your own family members. They are not interested in saving you. They are interested in saving themselves, actually. And you will realize that if you are with them. You will realize that very much if you are with them. So these things are that. One has to be actually a little intelligent. Guru Maharaj always used to say, you are an educated person. Educated means you use your intelligence. You decide, what is favorable for you. Whatever circumstances, grihe tako, vane tako, but if it is favoring your Hari Bhajan, you go for it. It doesn't matter what others say. Now, people will always talk. It's very natural. People always say something or the other. You cannot avoid this. But if it is favorable for your bhajan, you go ahead, you do it. Because ultimately, you have to fly and land your own plane. Nobody is going to help. All these instructions, everything is okay when you're on the ground and you're getting in the training. But eventually, when you're in the sky, you're all alone. You have to land your own plane. So that's why you should use your God-given intelligence. Always pray for the mercy of the Lord and His pure devotees that my Lord, somehow or other, save me from this kind of situation. I don't want to be entrapped like this again and again. So that kind of intelligence, that is also not very easy to acquire. When one is serving pure devotees with a lot of humility, one gains this kind of, this kind of intelligence. Otherwise, it doesn't come easy. Because our association is not good most of the time. We are all with the wrong kind of people, and because of that, we develop all their traits, especially all the bad ones. Because all the bad qualities are very attractive, you see. The good qualities generally, very few people are attracted to good qualities. The bad qualities are so very attractive. So one has to be a little cautious, and not be carried away. What is the use of the whole world if you cannot save your soul? I think Jesus Christ said that. What is the value of your kingdom or something if you cannot save your soul? So one should be very, very cautious that. And then if one is sincere, Krishna will definitely help. The Lord is always willing to help. The Lord's devotees are also always willing to help. But one must put oneself in a position. I used to tell you that story, right? I don't know if you remember. During Kartik month, the gopis and all, they used to send this lambs, right? They used to float it on the Yamuna. And the evening time, Sandhya time, when it is getting dark, and Krishna would go into the Yamuna and he would pull out all these lamps and place them on the shore. And Yashoda Maya was, what are you doing? Playing the water after Sandhya is not good. Come back. And Krishna was saying, I'm doing my job. Tar Rao. Tar Rao means I'm taking them across this ocean of birth and death. And Yashoda Maya was asking, Kitna taroge? How many you can do? And Krishna was saying, Kam se kam jo paas mein hai, usko to karu. Whatever is close to me, let me do that. So this is the thing, how to become close to the Lord. This should always be our endeavor. Because sooner or later, we'll have to give up everything. The material world, this body, all our so-called friends, families, associates, everything we'll have to give up. But we should never give up this Krishna consciousness. And when you're closer, it is much easier. Okay?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Is anyone else would like to ask any question? If so, please raise your hand. There are no further questions, Prabhuji.
Okay. I feel very blessed. So very happy Christmas to all of you. Thank you for your patient listening. Hare Krishna. Jai Guru Maharaj Srila Sripad ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, B.I. Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Hare Krishna.
We are about to conclude and we see two hands raised. Our Shyam Kishore Prabhu and Govind Maharaj. Let us take them in maybe at max 10 minutes we can spare because we have other meetings scheduled. Yes, Shyam Kishore Prabhu, please.
Shyam Baba, Hare Krishna.
Okay.
What happened?
Prabhuji is not coming forward, maybe. Yeah, Roshan Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Radha Madam.
Neil Madhav. Yeah.
Oh, this is Neil Madhav. Okay. Jai Ho.
I got one strange question, but I will ask him. So,
okay, I'll get. Am I allowed to give a strange answer? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. When a person becomes his own enemy, means
his own enemy,
yeah. So in that tricky, like in that very dangerous situation, how a person can be helped? Hare Krishna.
See, you are digging your own grave, then you have to go lie down in it and you have to die. What else can be done? What else can be done? See, Bhaktivedanta, there was this incident, there was a pastime that actually what happened was that some devotee, somehow by external influence, he had, Bhaktivedanta sent him away from the mud actually. I think it was somewhere in Haridwar or Bengal, I'm not sure. So, but you see, this is the thing, the nature of sadhu, they don't want to give up the nature. He was still trying to save him, although he chastised him very badly and sent him out. He told his disciples later in, I think it happened in Calcutta somewhere, Bagh Bazar area. He told him, those disciples in Haridwar, you take him to that center there, but don't tell him that I allowed this. Don't tell him about this. So that devotee, they approached this devotee and then, and he was so miserable actually. He was very miserable and he was thinking, what will happen to my life? And then, within 1 week, these devotees, they approached him, you come to, Haridwar center. It's all right, we will talk to, Bhaktivedanta and we will convince him. So you see, Guru's mercy is unlimited. Krishna's mercy, so much unlimited. So even a person, somehow he shows a little inclination towards devotional service. Then they try to fan that. Whatever that good quality that person has, they try to fan that and encourage that person so that at one time, he will become a very nice devotee. There are so many cases, right? During the early days, like Prabhupada's disciples, some of them, they would steal the money and they would run away. It's not a nice thing. People are giving for Krishna Seva, they would just steal the money and, run away. And then Prabhupada would, call that person, he would bring him and make him the president of the temple, or the finance in charge, you take care now. And that person would become so ashamed that he would see to that one single paisa was not, improperly spent. So there are always things, there are always ways and means how we can save a person. In South, we say, if the cow is a dancing cow, you have to dance and milk it. If it's a singing cow, you have to sing. And then the cow will give you milk. So somehow or other, they bring out all these natural devotional qualities in a person. This is a sadhu's job. One has to be very expert, actually. One has to be very expert. The demons, they even appreciated Narad Muni. He had free access. He could just walk into any demon's place. But that same demon would have killed so many sadhus. But Narad Muni was welcome there. How is that possible? So this is the thing. These miracles, they can happen. You can save a person who is digging his own grave also. If you have firm faith in Guru and Krishna, anything is possible. You pray for the mercy, anything is possible. And the person will realize, by the blessings of the Lord, by the blessings of the devotees, the person will realize. Somebody is being good to you, like that sadhu was trying to save that scorpion. You remember that story? So many times that snake, but the poison will run out at one particular time. So all this bad intelligence, at one point it will run down, and that person will understand, oh, this person is really actually working for my welfare. Then he will correct his ways. So that will happen. It will definitely happen. In Kali Yuga, luckily Mahaprabhu's movement is so nice that he is not killing the demons. He is only killing the demoniac mentality, right? It is a consciousness which is wrong. They talk about so many changes, right? Climate change is changing your lifestyle, changing this, changing that. But this conscious change, right? This change in the heart, this transformation, that can be only affected by a very exemplary behavior, very loving behavior. Otherwise, it will not work. You're simply going to chastise means they become even more upset. Even if you go tell him, why are you digging your own grave, he will become upset. So somehow we have to worm way into his heart, make him his friend, and make him understand that you really meant something for his benefit. And we do as much as we can. Everybody has his capacity, right? Yatha Shakti. The birds, they can only fly up to their capacity. They cannot cross their capacity. So within your limits, whatever is humanly possible, you try to advise, try to suggest, try to be there. Sometimes all you have to do is be with the person and just listen. And then, they will vomit all their faults, they will vomit all their problems, and then everything becomes solved. Because the Lord is looking for ways somehow to bring that soul back into his family. The devotees are also trying for that. So we are just agents, actually. And we can be a good agent or we can be a bad agent. That is up to us. That's all we can do. So at least from your side, your behavior has to be exemplary. Try to make friends. And if it works out, well and good. If it doesn't work out, what you can do? Either way, what you can do? Some things are beyond our control, right? So we just let go. But we try. We try as much as possible. Like in science, they say, nothing is impossible. You apply the same terminology here. Nothing is impossible. Is that okay? Nilmadha Prabhu.
I hope so, Prabhu. We will move on to our Lord Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Dandavat Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Dandavat. You use the example of the scorpion and the sadhu. We idealize. We are the followers of Prahlad Maharaj sadhu like Prahlad Maharaj. Sadhu may have abilities, but our sadhu is a pure devotee. Right? Ultimately, the primary symptom is exclusively taken shelter of Krishna. So that attitude of that sadhu uses the context of that even by taking date, just drink ghee, enjoy. Life is very temporary, you know. You understand?
Yeah, Maharaj.
So somebody
Yava
has
Jeevat Sukham Jeevan.
yeah. So even by taking date or by you drink ghee. So somebody objected to Prabhupada. You are using the example, you are quoting such person as like a Vedic authority or something like that. Then Prabhupada said that at least kill animals and eat meat. So the whole idea is there's a better thing to do. But in this context, by sadhu, do we idealize it in accordance to the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj? Why we use this example?
Oh, okay. Maharaj is asking why I use that example. I'm just going. No, I'm.
Inspire us. In what sense it will inspire us?
I was trying to give that example to just show that how sadhu will be. He will remain good in all circumstances. However trying it may be, he will not give up his original nature and try to do something to the contrary of what is expected of him. That was the point, Maharaj. Not that, one has to be foolish to be repeatedly stung, by a scorpion or bitten by a snake. I don't know why is
no, sadhu.
Maharaj, the voice is not clear. It is breaking up. I cannot hear most of your question. Haribol?
Yeah, there is a network issue from Maharaj's side.
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't get half the question. Whatever
can you
little.
Hear me?
Yeah, now is better, Maharaj. Yes.
Haribol? Yes, Maharaj, please.
Maybe 1 second.
I can hear you.
Maharaj, I think there is some network issue on your side. You're in Vrindavan Dham. I think it's very cold there, I think. I don't know. Somehow the signal is not reaching. Maybe tomorrow we can discuss same thing, or I mean, like if there is time.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Maharaj wants to say something. Probably, tomorrow maybe when the signal is little good.
Okay. So, do we idealize that example of sadhu?
Can that be followed by everyone under all circumstances? That's what Maharaj is trying to ask.
See, that is the thing I was saying, Yatha Shakti, right? Yatha Shakti means according to one's capacity, one behaves actually. Past conditioning, there are so many factors involved. Sometimes a really bad person can behave in a very good way, unimaginably good way. He can save millions of lives. And then sometimes, somebody who is apparently a good person, he can behave in a very obnoxious way. So these things, we cannot predict actually how these things work out. But somebody who's endeavoring to be a sadhu, that person, a devotee, he should under all circumstances, try to behave in a saintly way. so that everybody is benefited, not just himself. Everybody is benefited. That is sadhu. Sadhu, he will forego his own welfare for the others. That is sadhu's nature. His own welfare he can give up very easily so that the other person is benefited.
But not for. But what about someone who we don't protect?
Yeah,
Why we
somebody
kill
is
why we kill the
deliberately.
scorpion or snake is to be killed. Prabhupada says the snake and Scorpio, people like that, people have to be killed. Because they mercilessly, without any reason, they harm and deprive the human beings.
Maharaj, my understanding is that if one on a personal level, if somebody is attacking you, you can always tolerate
the fulfillment of the. But don't go into his will. Don't go and pain his demoniac nature.
No, Maharaj, I'm not glorifying his nature. I'm glorifying the sadhu's nature. That he is, even in all trying circumstances, is trying to maintain his divinity.
No, just leave him alone. Or possible, just get rid of him, because that creature will harm others unnecessarily. Like some terror in a Scorpio. It is said that mantra and Aushadhi, they can be tamed, but they are of no use actually there. So when
I cannot hear half of what Maharaj is saying.
Yes, Prabhuji, maybe we can discuss it tomorrow.
See, okay, just this one point, like you are trying to be Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, like the Lord is a friend of all living entities, right?
Very envious, like snake and Scorpio, they need not be friend or just his delight when his father's
Rajiv, we are not able to hear you properly. Half of the voice is being lost. So, shall we continue tomorrow?
No, you're hearing my voice, right, Sanatan?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, see, what Maharaj is trying to say is that, you let these people who are too envious, you leave them alone like that. That is that. We are all trying to be pure devotees, no? On Madhyam level, you can do that. Those who are Dveshi, those who are very envious, those people you can discard. But pure devotees, they don't see like that. And we are trying to become pure devotees, right? This is our final goal. So we say Krishna is Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, and we are trying to follow Krishna and be the friend of everybody. So then you're going to think, oh, this person is envious, let me throw away. Then, how is that going to help that person progress towards devotional life?
Yeah, but the point Maharaj was trying to bring is if it is creating some hurdle for our devotional journey itself, then
no, for our devotional service, then it is another point, because you have to save yourself. That is your first dharma. Saving others is, but devotees, even to that extent, they sacrifice their lives for the others. This is how magnanimous the devotees are. But that's not an easy thing. I'm just theoretically talking, but if actually somebody has to put that into action, it's not very easy. It's unimaginable actually. A real Mahatma.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Maybe we can conclude.
We can wind up. Jai Guru Maharaj Srila Sripad ki jai. Jai His Holiness Govinda Madhav Maharaj ki jai. Bhakti Swarup Govinda Madhav Maharaj ki jai. All the BA Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
His Grace Madan Manohar Prabhu ki jai.
Jai Guru Maharaj ki jai. Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you all for joining. See you all in tomorrow's class. Hare Krishna.